Hello, it's Jay here again and welcome to another tutorial. So in this lesson we're going to create a script that's going to manage what opponent we are going to face. So I had a little think about things with this project, and what I've decided to do is I think once we get to the point where we have both of the characters, both the player and the opponent, loading into the scene, that will be a good point to say we've gotten this far, let's tidy up and make improvements to what we've done already before continuing on. So that's what I've decided. If you have any thoughts about that, please leave it in the comments below. But with that said, let's go ahead and create the opponent script. So new C# script, and we need to give this a naming convention. Let's call it opponent manager. Let's open it for editing. So we're going to have a randomized opponent order, because that's what you get normally if you purchase a fighting game for any, well, PC or any console. The opponents normally are not in a set pattern. So let's begin right up at the very top, and the code we're going to use in this script is going to be very similar, and in some cases exactly the same as some of the other scripts we've done, which is lucky because it means we can copy and paste quite a bit of code. But we'll start with public game object with a capital G, and we're going to say underscore current opponent. Close that line off. We'll get straight into the comments. Variable to store current opponent. We'll come below here. We'll create of type public string. We'll say underscore selected opponent. And we're going to have that equal to an empty string. So two little speech marks, and close the line off. Defines which opponent currently selected, and public int opponent counter. Close that line off. Into the comments. Defines numerical counter for our opponents. So very similar to what we did in the background script, and we're going to actually keep going with this. We're going to say public string, open and close the square type of bracket, underscore opponent order, and it's going to be equal to a new string array. So new string, open and close the square brackets, will open and close brackets again. Into the comments, creates an array of opponents. We'll come inside, two little speech marks, and then we'll come inside black robot opponent, and let's just copy that, and I'm going to paste it in 6 times, and I'll explain in a minute why not the usual 7 to make 8 altogether. And The reason for that is I'm not going to include my gold robot in this order because I'm going to use my gold robot as my final boss. So its order will always be the last robot to fight, obviously. But these are going to create a list of all the other opponents, and these are going to be randomised. So that's the reason why the gold robot is going to be missing from this string array. So I'm just going through and changing the name to the colour of my robot. So white, red, blue, brown, and green. Finally, the pink. And always remember to remove the comma from the very last one. And of course we need to close the line off there. So let's come to the void start. Opponent counter equals 0 into the comments. Set opponent counter to 0 on start up. Now, I know some of you may wonder at this point, why set it to 0 here? Why not set it to 0 here? And there's a simple reason for that, is we normally assign a value to the public variable if we need to change it in the inspector. So if it's a value that can be variable, we want to set it in this line so we can experiment in testing. But when a value is always going to be set, so our opponent counter is always going to be 0 on startup, if you set it to any other value it will not work correctly. That's the reason it goes in the void start. And it's it's half a personal preference, but I'm an old school programmer. This is what I was taught, so I'll leave that for you to decide what's right for you. So selected opponent is going to be equal to underscore opponent order, open and close the square type of brackets, come inside 0, close that line off. Selected opponent equals 0 on start up. So now we need to actually randomise the array. So we need to randomise what order these actually end up being. So let's say 4, we'll open and close brackets, we'll open and close again. We're going to come inside this first set of brackets and we're going to say int OP for opponent order. Let's set that to 0. We'll close the line off, space, OP less than the opponent order dot length. Close the line off, OP plus plus. And I'll explain this as we are putting it into the comments. So we'll say new int OP, yeah, let's put OP equals 0. And I'll close the line off on the comments, same as I've done in the actual code. OP is less than, we'll say opponent order, let's put string length, and then we'll say we'll increase OP, so we increase in the counter because we need to get the length of this string. and let's say string. So this is a new string. Let's give it a name of underscore op temp equals opponent order. Open and close the square brackets, close the line off, inside those brackets OP. So let's put this into the comments. We'll say underscore op temp equals opponent order. And yeah, we'll just put the square brackets in and OP. A new int, and it's going to be of type random. Let's give this a name of random order. Put the underscore in, so random order is going to be equal to a random range, so random dot range, open and close brackets, close that line off, come inside, and we're going to say OP, comma, and we'll say underscore the opponent order, and we want the length, so dot length. Let's bring this up for commenting. Int random order equals, let's come down here, a random range, and we'll say it's between OP, which we start out by setting to 0 here, and the opponent order length. So let's come to the next line. We're going to say underscore opponent order, open and close the square brackets, OP is going to be equal to the underscore opponent order. And we want the square brackets, and what we want is the new random order of this variable, which is this here. So let's close that line off into the comments. So opponent order OP equals opponent order, yeah, we'll just put random, and we'll say underscore opponent order. Let's open and close them square brackets. We're going to say random order is going to be equal to that string here, what we created. So underscore op temp. Let's close that line off into the comments. Opponent order equals, and we'll put it as the proper name, underscore op temp. So let's just tidy up those comments there, and let's save that off. So I hope with the comments you understand how this works. It's a fairly standard for loop for the when we're dealing with random string arrays. What we're actually going to do is, because we won't see this in the inspector, but we can see it in the console. So we'll come here, we'll say for each, open and close brackets, we're going to say string op in the underscore opponent order, print the OP. So we'll print open and close brackets, close the line off. Inside the brackets we're just going to put OP. And I'm not going to comment these lines. I'm not going to bother, for the simple reason is these are just for testing and we will be deleting them. So let's just wait for that to recompile. And let's just come to the splash screen. We'll create an empty game object. Let's just reset that. We'll give it a naming convention of opponent manager. Remember to enter, and let's assign the script. So there you can see our array. Now it won't jumble up here. If we just clear that. If I hit play though, and I'll just stop that there. As you can see, we've got blue, brown, pink, black, red, white, green. So it has actually randomised them up. Let's hit the play again and they should come out in different orders. So I'm just going to run through it a few times. So this time we've got green robot first, then the red, and so on. So as you can see, this now is random, this array. And we have a lot more to do on this script, but this lesson is getting quite long, so let's leave it here for now, and we'll pick this up in the very next video. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope to see you next time, and until then, as always, bye for now.